Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Magic Arena Run. Today we are going to be, we're in the Gathering. Well, interesting name. It's but it's essentially Singleton, but it is all access Singleton, so you do get to play with a lot of the cards that you don't have. So we're gonna try to take advantage of that, and what better way to do that than with Singleton Vampires? Well, last time we had Singleton for Midnight Hunt. We did do werewolves version, so I think it was just right that we do a vampires version here. Also, I had a lot of cards from Crimson Vow that I don't quite have yet, so those were quite good fits. So for the most part, it's early vampire aggro, aggro / mid range. But we do have we have a light blood team, and we also have a light reanimator team between Blood in the Snow, Olivia Crimson Bride, Drana the Last Blood Sheep. So we, as long as no one messes with our graveyard, we can keep going at it. And we also have a decent blood team, so gaining life. It's all pretty much about making blood tokens. Actually, now that I think of it, I could easily just cut the Blood Craze Socialite for something cheaper. We are having a bit of curve issues, even though we are functionally running 26 lands. 21 lands plus Spike Field, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. We're running 26 lands functionally. But the mana could still be an issue. I guess I could cut that one menace creature at the end. It's essentially just there to give me a way to generate blood, but there are better ways to do that. In fact, there are cheaper ways. I probably want to take a look into those, or at least keep up the aggression or add more move. Okay, so we have a very good start here. So we can go turn 2 Bloodtide Harvester into Restless Bloodseeker. We do kind of need ways to generate gain life. We do have a few, not that many though. Opponent also in the Restless Bloodseeker plan. So let's see if our opponent has Florian, which is an issue, but that is probably the best start our opponent could have. So let's see. Restless Bloodseeker's probably better than Falcon Rat Forebear in this instance. Also, let's do a double click. Just activate a sorcery. Activate only as a sorcery. So we are gonna have to take one hit. Actually, wait, no, we can still sack the blood token, which feels really bad, but like discard something to draw into something, hopefully. Well, there's no point in just double blocking. We will have to take this hit. We're kind of looking for another way to generate blood. We can also just go Henrika Domnati. Ideally, I could just go Immerstrom Predator. Okay, opponent is going to snipe the Bloodtide Harvester. That's actually a very good hit for them. So, can't do anything about that. Oh, they're gonna snipe the Restless Bloodseeker. Okay. So we might just go for the Immerstrom Predator this turn. Because it's either that or Henrika. Henrika just forces a sack, but I would need to transform her immediately to get the benefit out of it. Immerstrom is probably better. I have a creature I can sack to give it indestructible, and I can exile it to buff it if it needs to get to that point. We will be taking quite a bit of damage, but this is not an easy threat for our opponent to respond. Though there are a few cards that our opponent can use, like Soul Shatter's a good one. Bleed Dry, Olivia's Midnight Ambush a bit too early because it's still technically neither night nor day. See if and we get to pump it. Opponent just gives it up. They might have a Meat Hook Massacre, but it doesn't work that. It doesn't quite work that way. You need it still needs to be X equals 4. Okay, that one's still annoying though. So with that, I can play Henrika, force each player to sacrifice a creature, but it's really bad for us. Falcon Rat for Bear is probably a good... Well, we're gonna play the land. I'm willing to play the Falcon Rat for Bear. It gives us a cheap block. Actually, it more of gives us a cheap... And let's see, sacrifice 2, return from your graveyard to the battlefield. It can't block, so that's an issue, but it's probably one of the better options. Opponent, yeah, figures out that we can just Voldaren Bloodcaster. So we are looking. So they are loading the board, but they don't have any much to show for it. I could just swing with 4 bear. Oh, nice, we hit the Massacre. So ideally, it's X3. Quite brutal, but we'll take that. And our opponent auto concedes. Yeah, that's kind of the issue with going for with offloading everything at once. I actually had only Meat Hook Massacre for the most part in the in this build. I eventually decided, you know what, we need to add another sweeper. Blood on the Snow fits the bill. I also added a cheap sweeper. Okay, that's okay. There you go. That's a bit of a weird delay. I also added the cheap Vampire Sweeper, if I'm not mistaken, and also so we have quite a few. It also means I don't have to run the double red for Burn Down the House. Yeah, trying to ease up on, yeah, Vampire's Vengeance. So we have quite a few sweepers. We don't want to be full of sweepers. We're not a control deck, but we do want to have some at least. So that was actually a very decent one. Yeah, our opponent overextended. I think they wanted to go. Well, losing the Florian was probably mistake number 1. So I could just go Pit Fighter turn 1 and just start the aggro early. We have Blood in the Snow, so I don't mind eventually discarding something to get back. Though we do need to have more snow-covered lands. Like, for example, if I want to get back Image Drum Predator, I need to be somewhat aware of it. So we'll start the aggro. Because we don't exactly have a turn to play. Right now, it looks like we're mono aggro for the most part. We probably don't want to meet Massacre until turn 2 any. Opponent Restless Bloodseeker. So, well, looks like everyone is doing a flavor of vamps, and is that it? Okay, that did catch me by surprise. I did not expect to see this many vamp decks. I could also go Blood Vial Purveyor, but we're gonna just go Image from Predator right away. It's kind of gambling that our opponent does not have a Soul Shatter. Yeah, the 3 mana is super sketch. Our opponent could also snipe the Pit Fighter in response, which does leave Predator shields down. That's also an issue. Well, they didn't go for it, so we're gonna pass. But our opponent could easily have certain removal, so he could debate and counter it. That actually makes it good removal, I would say. Now our opponent could still have the -X though. We do have Blood Vial per Rending Flame. There you go. Has to spend 2 spells to wipe it, but does get it. We are hitting the... I could just do a cheap Meat Hook Massacre right now. I'm probably gonna go Blood Vial Purveyor first. Force our opponent to have more responses, because this is still a 5/6 Flying Trample. Like, if we can empty their hand of removal early, it's quite fine. Yeah, Vampire's Vengeance is not quite good in this particular matchup, but it's good at every other one. Infernal Grass. So, so kind of what they wanted. Not too shabby, actually. So I need to... Okay, they are not offloading that much, though. So, given that, not much pressure. Though, I might have just walked into another removal spell. Wow, they are loaded for bear. So, we are... yeah, I think I should have held that one back. Our opponent isn't exactly pressuring us, though. Westgate region. Okay, now that's real pressure. We are kind of forced to do this. Thankfully, we have a decent card to discard. I actually considered having... I actually had a bunch of Westgate Regents as Westgate Regent and a bunch of other 5-drop Vamps as well. The problem is it messes up with the mana. It kind of messes with the mana. Our opponent might just be... okay, they're gonna start making more blood tokens, so we do need to start drawing cards. Well, technically, I should also consider... wait, do they have any creatures? No, the one creature they have is exiled, so draw a card, lose a life. We need the extra cards. The lack of predation, that's quite good. So Blood on the Snow for either Predator or Purveyor are good choices. Opponent goes Law.
Are you enraptured by do what I demand?
But I probably will end up Soul Shattering first, just to get rid of Law. Our opponent... and because our opponent is not running snow mana, I'm at least confident there's no Blood in the Snow in the future. I might still hold back the... no, let's ping this one. At least it's the more expensive... toughness-wise, it's a better hit. So I can do a budget Meat Hook Massacre if it gets to that point. Yeah, we'll be taking 4 damage, which is kind of annoying, but them's the breaks. Like, we just need one more snow-covered mana to hit one of our creatures. Worst case scenario, we don't hit it, but it's untapped, so we can get back the Callous Blood Mage. That's also a plan. Our opponent might be in the... okay, Orcus, Prince of Death. I think they do the return plan. So we have to do Meat Hook Massacre X equals 3. Or Blood in the Snow is not so great. We'll do the board wipe. It gains me a bit of life also, which is quite important as well. And that should give me the safety Blood in the Snow if our opponent decides to go all out on their other stuff. We could also just start end of turn making blood tokens. Our opponent probably gonna start doing that because looks like they might be slightly out of gas, not so much. But that was okay, opponent. So they do have something. They have their own Blood Vial Purveyor. And fortunately for us, we hit our own Blood in the Snow, so let's see. Our opponent could still have removal. But they did use quite a good chunk of it. Okay, they're now been reduced to playing Boldarin. They might want to start sacking these in order to prevent me from getting this kind of swole. Yeah, that's exactly what they're gonna do. It does also tell us that whatever they have in hand is not quite great anyway, so yeah, that was a land. Yeah, so they're gonna be using these blood tokens to dig. It is an issue with Blood Vial Purveyor. But then again, the Blood Vial Purveyor and the Immerstrom, the Predator are not exactly protectable either. Okay, we did hit the Blood Tide Harvester, so that's good for us. And that's a big chunk, and that's a big hit. Also, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could make another token. We probably, well, that's pretty much all we can do. We can't exactly activate this because we don't have cards in hand. So we're kind of at the mercy of our opponent's draws or lack thereof. Note that if our opponent decides to go for the Harvester, we probably should still make a blood token anyway. Now our opponent is incentivized to sack the blood tokens. It gains them life and it reduces their window. Our opponent is making a decision. It clearly means they have small removal. Not big enough for Blood Vial Purveyor, otherwise they would have fired off right away. Let's see. Oh, Nighthawk Scavenger. That would have been... they might have been concerned of the... They probably were concerned about the Trample, but Lifelink would have been in their favor. They might have also been concerned that if they just played that one, I would have sacked it. I would have just targeted that opponent, having to give up several of their vampires. Just to minimize the damage. But they had to give up quite a few creatures just to make it happen. Now let's see, did they hit gold? And no, they hit land. In fact, they probably should not. They shouldn't have bothered playing it. I am gonna take out the Gluttonous. Actually, no, they're out of blood tokens, so there is no incentive to take it out quite yet. I'm most likely going to just okay, looks like they did not draw something they wanted, so they are going to sack the token immediately. That's kind of the power of blood, which is why I also wanted to feature this deck. And the opponent concedes. Looks like they could... Yes, looks like they could not defeat the... They could not defeat the Blood Vial Purveyor. Definitely having access to reanimation is a key component. I, in fact, considered running the Foretell card from Kaldheim just to give me another reanimation effect, but we probably don't need that many animation effects. We just need a few. And I also need wow. Is it crashing or what? I have to be careful. This might be a short video with the way things are going. Let's kill Zul first. That should free up some resources. Okay, so decent opener. Yeah, I'm Blood Craze Socialite's now pretty much now in my cut list because it's woefully inefficient for what it wants to do. Yeah, it's it's a 4-mana evasive creature. But is it what I really want to do? I guess the only good news is I did hit my land drop, so let's see what our opponent drops. Nothing. So now we're holding up Infernal Grasp if our opponent decides to drop something. This could be control, which is all sorts of annoying. I might actually pass because there's no good reason to play the Graveyard Trespasser. Opponent foretells but misses the land drop. So I'm gonna just play the Bloodcrazed Socialite here. It's relatively cheap, it's fine. This could easily be, okay. Opponent's missing more land drops, so that's most likely saw it coming. So I'm actually gonna just swing. We're gonna decline the blood token sacrifice only because we don't quite need to. I'm also not gonna play out anything else because our opponent is clearly sitting on some sort of spell. Okay. We'll play Sorin the Mirthless now that our opponent decided to go shields down. And opponent conceded, yeah. Okay, let's take a look at what they... Epiphany Demon Bolt. They were playing 3 colors. Okay. My comment on playing 3 colors is... It's good and constructed. It's a horrible idea in Singleton. Oddly enough, five color you might be better off going all the way in that respect, but 3 color in a Singleton format without the triomes, with pathway. Well, we do have a lot of the we have a lot of the slow lands, but you only have access to. Okay, if you're playing 3 color deck, you'll only have access to realistically to 3 of them. So that's 3 of them, 3 pathways, so that's 6. It's barely enough. I guess you can add the Snarl. That would also be a good one. But take note, your mana is already awfully slow with the cards I'm just describing. Okay, you can add the Campus as well, but bleh. Like it's good if you're gonna go for that route, your deck better be land heavy because you cannot afford to miss drops. Okay, so yeah. Speaking of which, we are in that situation as well, but because this is a free event, our opponent decided to save us the trouble and conceded right away. Okay, we'll take that thank you in. I was gonna consider mulliganing that one actually. We literally only had an Infernal Grasp and nothing else. So kind of interesting. This is looking like a short video. But only because of the way things have gone. But we'll keep pushing. Let's get it to at least half an hour. I guess it's a reasonable rate. Like we've had only like 2 real. Now having a lot of red is an issue here because we're predominantly black. These 2 cards rely on black. We do have a Belligerent Guest to kind of get us going. We have Shatter Skull Smashing to kind of get us there also. At least we know we don't need the double black until turn 4. And we have Field of Ruin as an option. Though that assumes our opponent is playing non-basic. So far they haven't. Worst case scenario, I can probably just discard Henrika. We have Drana anyway. Opponent goes with Sentinel. Let's force our opponent to have the Snakeskin Veil because this is this is probably the least offensive card to use it on. If our opponent wants to trade it, I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't really need the blood token right now. I do need our opponent to have a non-basic though. So far it's been all basics. This is quite legit as a strategy because Inspiring Bard, you gain 3 life. Okay, we did hit our. So our opponent could have anti-flyer tech, but which one did I want to go? I probably need the extra cards. We'll go for Henrika first. Draw card, lose a life. I don't need to transform quite yet. There, Hagra Mauling gives us some. So we have a hand of removal depending on what our opponent drops. Opponent probably has a fight spell. Rabid Eye. Okay, that's fine. The reason I was willing for that is because I knew we had Drana, so now we just need to keep the board clear for the most part. I might actually end up playing this as a land. Okay, we hit a gluttonous guess, so maybe. I think I still want to play this as a land though. We have Infernal Grasp if we need to anyway. Now this is me hoping that 2 pieces of removal will be sufficient. Let's see. Now because of the nature of green removal, I am with. That was perfectly fine. Opponent plays a land. They are running out of resources. We have Florian, which we can go for instead. I kind of want to do Drana. Yeah, let's just do Drana. My concern is our opponent might have anti-flyer tech, but that would be one less card for me to worry about, so be it. My other concern is our opponent could be setting up for something big like say a Froghemoth. That would wipe out my graveyard. Looks like our opponent does have the choose your weapon. Okay. It's a bit annoying. If they have a Froghemoth to follow up, that would be really annoying. At least we would have the Baleful Mastery to follow up. Mentor, not so much an issue. We did hit the Blood Tide Harvester, so yeah, might as well just run both out. That should give us removal for an X4. Also, it's whenever you sacrifice a blood token, it doesn't. Oh wait, no. It sacrificed this one for the number of tokens. Ooh. I would say that our friend is definitely a newer player if they don't exactly have the big collection yet to buff this up quite a bit. Okay, let's see how they distribute the counters. Because they know I have pieces of remove. They know I have Blood Tide Harvester as a removal. Draws 2 cards. Okay. It does mean they can't swing with Elder Leaf Mentor, though I would love to see them swing with it. Okay, they did not swing with it. That's very clever. Opponent might just chump. Let's see if they notice that it's first strike. Yeah, they notice it, so it's just chump. That's actually fine. Unfortunately, can't sack the blood tokens because I really need it for whatever they're about to drop next. That's not it. Let's see if they have a follow-up spell. I might just take the hit. Let's just take it. We'll hold back the gluttonous guest. Elven ambush. Okay, so it's a chump block. Not great, but okay, we might as well play this. Opponent is down to. We are down to top decking, so that's a thing. I am willing to chump block here. Force them to use up a combat trick if they have it. Basically, if they have any, okay, they don't have a combat trick. They might still have a big creature that I can't resolve. Okay. Definitely swinging. Holding back the guess just in case. Say it's safe. We hit Olivia, which is really good. Also hit the Forebear and Agadeem's Awakening. I'm probably going to just play out Olivia ASAP. We have to play it this turn, so... It's a sad timing, but... Kinda have to do it this way. Now we'll need to see if our opponent is able to catch up. Kian, that doesn't really do anything. Like... Well, technically she can... Oh, she's missing the mana for it. Pass the attacks. Hive is good. Actually, not that great. So we're gonna swing with Olivia. What do we get? We get Drana. We don't get her ability, but it's still good. But getting Drana back is gonna be really annoying. Basically holding back Florian because we don't really need to swing with him. Yeah, and opponent concedes to the Meathook Massacre. Well, our board was already quite insurmountable at that point. Yeah, we just had to be very patient and relatively careful. But that is probably why it's so important to have interaction as opposed to just chalking our deck with vampires and hoping everything sticks. The interaction is very important there. Without it, it's very easy to get caught in a dud. Let's see if we can do one more win and then call this episode a day. I actually ran into several mono-white matchups when I was testing this, so... Interesting that we're not seeing it now. But mono-white is always a staple. Mono-green... Also a staple, though you generally expect bigger creatures than that. Okay, we have a Bloodcaster. And a Guess, but we are missing... lands. I'll keep this, but we're probably gonna concede early if we don't hit our land drops. Fearless Pup. Okay, we have another option, so we can at least play Restless Bloodseeker. It forces our opponent to... Well, they can't boast with this yet. So at least... But it does... If they swing, it means they're telegraphing a combat trick, so say Lavi. Also note that we do have an interesting combo with the Guest. We gain life, we get the blood token. So we can kind of cycle this. Yep, we did miss our land drop, so that's a bit of a disaster there. So let this be the usual. Be cautious about the cards, about the hands you keep scenario. Yes, we had a lot of tree drops, so we were kind of aka secure there, but actually our situation would have been a lot worse if this were say another 3 drop or a 4 drop and we had to play this. We would have been doing stone cold nothing. Reckless Storm Seeker. Opponent is going to start going off. We'll have to take the tree. I could just chump block with everything, but we'll take the tree. Hit the land and perfect one at that. Because it allows us to swing with Voldaren Bloodcaster. And just use the Voldaren Ambusher to take out the Storm Seeker on the cheap. So we did not have to commit one of our real removal spells. So Bloodcaster having flying, always a solid plus. While we can function with... So now we're on the lookout for making enough blood tokens to at least flip this guy. Opponent's gonna just spend it right away. Give us 1 blood token. Now we just need to get another one. I could also play this one so I can start putting +1/+1 counters. That would be even just as an... That would also be a big deal. And we also gain some life, which will give us another token on the return. I'm swinging with just the Ambusher because there's always the blocking shock, which is a concern. Looks like our opponent might not have had it. No, it kind of stopped on them, so... But probably just deciding on whether they should block. The good news is if our opponent is forced to just drop 1 creature at a time, we have the Soul Shatter. Pack Song Pup. Also called... Okay, now seeing these two side by side, I want to say that... Yeah, this is... How do you call this? Isn't... This is essentially... Yeah, I would say plagiarism. No, plagiarism's a harsh term. Anyway, so we could swing with these, but... Yeah, I could crack this to hopefully hit another land. Like, I kind of want to discard the Stormkirk Bloodteeth at this point. Yeah, still missing land drops, which is an issue. I could play the Null Priest, but I might have to hold. I'm also going to just swing with the Ambusher, keep the aggro going. If we can get our opponent to trade, I'm perfectly fine with it. Also, because Runebound Wolf only hits us, it doesn't... So, and this is at the beginning of your end step. So, Nurse, we get the benefit of life, but we don't get the benefit of making a blood token from gaining that life. If our opponent decides to tap that, they'll realize that it's only going to hit us. We'll take 3 damage. Howling Moon. Let's see which one our opponent targets. What's the other effect? If they cast a second spell, we're only casting 1 at least though. So, knowing that it's just temporary, we'll take the damage, but we'll nuke this. We'll nuke the pup right away. Leaves our opponent semi-open, though we might have given them a card that they could place. We're essentially just waiting to hit that. Now there is a risk our opponent does have a kill spell, so but cleaning that this board might be more important. Okay. Okay, yes. Yeah, looks like opponent does have a response, so we're swinging in with that. Get ourselves another blood token, which is neat. And if our opponent has any creatures, we go for Soul Shatter. If they don't have any creatures, we go for Sorin. Should be a solid finish. Sarul's Packmate to draw a card. Not exactly where our opponent wants to be. I don't exactly want to Soul Shatter it either. That's a and this is like each combat. No, it's combat on your turn. So on our, when we swing a Blood Soak Reveler, it doesn't quite do much. I'll just go Thorn the Merciless for now.
Consider yourself.
So let's say our opponent swings with the Packmate. We probably just take the hit even if it's 5 damage. Our opponent needs to follow up with something big. Tovalar would be a big issue. Though we do have the Soul Shatter for it. That's why we've been kind of saving it. Actually, Tovalar or Tovalar's Pack Leader, that one would be a real big dump on our plans. If I were to go Null Priest, eventually, it's probably just to get back the Bloodcaster. Because we have a reasonable way of generating blood tokens now, so we'll eventually be able to flip this one and start making bats that way. Opponent is gonna probably try to snipe some. Oh, both Dragon. Classic. So let's see how they swing. If they swing both at Sorin, I might just take. Because if they swing with only this one, I am going to just block. Okay, they're gonna swing that on our face, so it kind of buys us a turn. But more importantly, when we do the Soul Shatter, it will take out the target that we really want. I do also have the option to just look at the top card and draw for something. I also have the option to just keep doming our opponent with the Bloodsoak Reveler. Opponent Cemetery Prowler, exile card from Graveyard, which is not so good for us. We'll probably lose one of the vampires. That is the weirdest one for them to take. We're gonna do the look at the top card. Yes, reveal. We'll take that.
You wish to know my secrets? Very well.
And I think this one is whenever it also includes attacking, so that's an issue. We actually get... I actually don't remember game. How did we get... It's each opponent's sacrifices. They finally hit Tovalar, so it's gonna be night later. They probably want to... They probably will swing with Cemetery Prowler, which is an issue. We might have to take that hit. So let's see which card we lose. Most likely the Bloodcaster. It doesn't benefit, well, it doesn't benefit the cost, but it benefits them to eat that card. So also I have to take no block, unfortunately.
Wallow in darkness, then.
Yeah, this only gets back creatures, which is a bit on the sad side. Yeah, discard a card. Hit Anj. Anj is a good hit. We probably still want to keep the Null Priest. But the setup now is that we can start. The setup now is we can start sacking this to these to dome our opponent instead of having to pay with this. But it's like 2, 4, 6. We are taking quite a bit of damage along the way. Our opponent has to spend mana to give something trample, so they have to I have to factor that in too. Which does mean I am. Which does mean I am inclined to just block Tovalar with. Though our opponent's probably also inclined to just pump Tovalar. If they're only swinging with this one though, I'm actually okay with it. Now the question is, do I need this to stay alive? No, I don't. No, because I have another way to gain life now, so I don't need the Gluttonous Guest anymore. Wow, this is actually...
Excuse my sudden egress.
So let's hope they did not draw into anything spicy. Okay, land. A Blood in the Snow would be fine. It gets us Anya back. So we're gonna pass. We're gonna see what card we get out of Florian. Has to be Inferno Grass. So they've already used... No, this was not the match that used it. That was the previous match. Let's see if they do have the protection Snakeskin Veil. They do. Do they? They don't. So, a knife. And... I probably want to hold this because I kind of want to decide if I want to discard the card or not. We are taking quite a bit of damage over time, so... But we're eventually going to have to throw the Gluttonous Guest under the bus. It does give us... Flourishing. Oh wow, they're going to... Well, thankfully, Howling Moon did... The Howling Moon buff does not proc quite right away. One is going to start swinging with multiple cards, I suppose. Yeah, just absorb some of the damage. We don't need... Dome them a little bit. So we're probably gonna just end up sacking another token. Yeah, now I kind of wish I played the land. Yeah, the vampire so. That is a good draw for us. So also hit a Blood Tide Harvester, or which is actually quite good because we do need the removal. Take the one hit. So, but it does flip the child, which is good news. Also being... It doesn't give trample. This has to... And this is the only one with actual base trample. None of these have natural trample. So with the number of blood tokens we have, we can actually just sack this to nuke, say, their biggest threat. Probably the Flourishing Hunter. I'm gonna throw the Socialite under the bus. You know what? That's really bad. I've been giving buses a bad rap. All I keep saying is throw under the bus, throw under the bus. Seriously. Leave the bus alone. Opponent, if they don't have anything specific to do, they might just go wide with Child of the Pack. It does guarantee they flip into Knight because they don't have Tovolar anymore. Because the plan is to just dome them a bit. Yeah, they have to go for Anja. That makes sense. It's a good thing we have a way to get her back. Oh no, we can't get her back. That was a good one. So we will have to do it the old-fashioned way. Blood Soak Reveler. Actually, no. Let's just get rid of this altogether. Let's put an end to that. Probably just gonna go over the top instead, so we'll leave that be. Exile one of those cards. Oh, and we're forced to exile. We should not have cast this. I forgot that we were gonna exile one card. Ooh. We goofed up on that one. The Meathook Massacre gave us a free trigger. It would have. We do have the Null Priest to get something back. It's just a bit sad if we have to do it. On the bright side, Immerstrom Predator can start eating their graveyard for a little bit of revenge. So the question is how much damage are going to take. They're going for 11. I might sack Florian at this point, because we do have a way to get him back. Yeah, whenever a creature you control dies, does mess things up a bit. Yeah, we might end up losing this one only. Our point, but it does show how important it is to have interaction. Probably would have preferred some. Okay, Hagra Mauling's also interaction, which is actually quite good for us. I might actually just pass. No. Let's swing. I might end up just casting the null. Okay, opponent just makes a wolf token, so we can So our opponent's gonna try to go wide. We have to have a backup plan. We're gonna hold on to the Hagra Mauling because we might. It's hard to say if there's a situation where you need to be at 11 life. We are technically just one hit away from beating our opponent. Our opponent doesn't have any flyers quite yet. So this is kind of playing to our outs. It feels like the weakest one. But yeah, we have to really do the math. Also, we needed to cast a spell so that, because if the child flips, we'd have to deal with a trampling threat, and that's even worse. Because Howling Moon just goes on to that. Howling Moon's... Actually, werewolves in general have gotten better with Crimson Vow, not with Midnight. Okay, Midnight Hut set the stage. What's the likelihood that they'll have another flyer? Because I know I can set our life to 11. We have to block appropriately. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're blocking this one for sure. This could get trample, which is an issue. We do get gain 2 life off this. Opponent's also doing the hard math as well. Shatter Skull Smashing. That might do it. Yeah, that might do it. We'll be forced to block whichever's the big one. Yeah, that's good game. Our opponent got us there. That was a clutch Shatter Skull Smashing if there is one. So, well, a bit unfortunate for us, but yeah, we're gonna call this episode. We didn't get the final win, but it was relatively close. We had the plan to grind it out, though our opponent having removal hurts us. Cemetery Prowler is probably the real kill there. I think, knowing how reliant we were on the graveyard, we probably should have killed that instead of Tovalar. I think we would have had to discard several creatures to make it happen, but we probably should have made it happen no matter what. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode of the Magic Arena Run. If you like what you... Oh no, we had an Infernal Grasp. Yeah, we should have taken out Cemetery Prowler. That's where we kind of goofed up. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode of the Magic Arena Run. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on notifications and whatnot. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you guys again next time. Take care. God bless. Stay safe wherever you are. Have a great week, everyone. I know I hit 100... A little bit over 100 subscribers. I'm still figuring out how to do something for you guys. I'll figure it out somehow. Anyway, that will be then. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.